do I wait till people are there?
No, just wait a little bit.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this one darker?
Just lighting. All right, so start saying hi, getting engagement. You got 1 and 1.
Wait, what is this? How do I drop this down? Okay, there we go.
Yeah, but you want to have it up. You want to have it up because that way you can see what they're commenting.
Oh, so I can see the comments?
Yeah. All right, so say hi. See who's there.
Hello.
All right, send some hearts, loves.
I want to see who's on here watching. Hello, everyone. So I'm going to get started with this live event or live webinar of this Youngpreneur program. So today it's going to be all me, just talking to you guys, letting you guys know what's going on with the Youngpreneur program and let you know a little bit about me. So for anyone that doesn't know who I am, I'm Shirley Solis' son. My name is Alexis Solis. I'm 18 years old. And I've been an entrepreneur since I was probably about 6 years old. So when I tell people that, the first thing they normally say is like 6 years old. Like, you can't be an entrepreneur when you're 6. And my answer is always the same. It's always definitely you can be, right? Because being an entrepreneur is just starting your own business. It's exchanging something for money. It's offering your time and your efforts in exchange for capital, you know, for money or something like that. So basically, I started when I was 6 years old by buying like candy and stuff at the dollar store and reselling it. You know, I'd buy a pack of 4 lollipops for $1 and I'd sell each lollipop for $1, make a $3 profit, you know, little by little building up my cash, you know, to the point that at 10 years old, I was able to buy basically whatever I wanted. And at 12, I had people borrowing money from me, you know, hundreds and hundreds of dollars. By the time I was 13, I had probably about $2,000, $3,000 in my savings account. You know, this is all stuff that most people, most grown adults don't have this now, you know, and I had this at 12 years old. And I'm not saying this off like trying to brag or tell you like, wow, I did this, you know. I'm just trying to let you know that it's possible. You get me? So that's a little bit about me. Throughout my life, I've always had this passion for being an entrepreneur. So a little bit of my story. I started off with selling candy. Then I upgraded to selling sodas and like snacks, like chips, stuff like that. From there, I sold eggs. We sold chicken eggs. We had probably about I don't even remember how many chickens we had. Chickens everywhere. But either way, I would every day I lived Easter. I would wake up in the morning and I'd go out and I'd search throughout my 1.5 acre yard, finding eggs, collecting them, and then I'd go to church on Sunday with dozens and dozens of eggs and sell them, make money that way. And then after that, we sold honey, but that was more my dad's thing. We sold honey, we sold picnic tables, I sold foam swords, real swords, crossbows, just about pretty much everything you can imagine that a young boy can do from his house, like, and make money that way. I've done it. Okay. And just to be clear, just to make sure, I see a couple people are jumping on the live webinar. Just to make sure that you can hear me and see me and everything's good, just let me know in the chat and let me know where you're coming from. Also on Facebook, let me know where you're coming from on there. Just write in the chat. Just be like, yo, we're coming from, I'm here from Miami, Florida. Well, Homestead, Florida, technically. We're way down south where Irma hit, but luckily everything's good. So yeah, just let me know where you're at. Let me know you can hear me and make sure everything's good. While I wait for that, I wanted to, let me see. What else is there to know about me? Something that most people find interesting is that I bought myself, when I was 16, I bought myself an old Saturn car, like a 2002 Saturn, and I drove that car for about a year. And then finally, I worked my butt off for a year while paying my minimum insurance and no car payment on my Saturn. And I saved up enough money to buy myself a 2014 Ford Mustang. So now that's what I drive. And I feel like that was for me, that was my dream. Ever since I was 12 years old, I was like, you know what? One of my first cars is going to be a Mustang because I love Mustangs. It's my favorite car. Right now, my dream car, which one day I guarantee you I'll own it, is 1967. I think it's 1967 GT 500 Shelby Mustang. That car is nice, really, really. You know what? For the sake of argument, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you this car. I have it saved. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Here we go. So every time I see it on Instagram, I screenshot it. So there it is right there. That's my dream car. So you can see over here. That's a 19. It's kind of hard to see, but whatever. That's it. 1967 Shelby Mustang, a Ford Mustang GT 500. So anyways, I see somebody's here from Daytona Beach, Florida. Good to hear from you guys. I'm so happy you're able to join us. So now that I know you guys can hear us, I'll move on with the webinar today. So being that I'm a young entrepreneur, I wanted to share with you guys a little bit of something that I see I see problems sometimes with this generation, and it's not so much problems, but it's just kind of things that I notice. One of the things is that I see a lot of kids in this generation. For example, I'm a martial arts instructor, so every day I come in contact and I interact with hundreds of kids. So a few things that I've noticed is that kids tend to not value money. And I know that seems like they're kids. They're not supposed to. But for example, I valued money when I was 6, 7 years old because I worked for it. So for example, I feel like kids in this generation or children or whatever, they have an issue with valuing money just because it's kind of like they don't know how hard it is to get it. So they don't really understand, because to them it's just mom or dad, give me $20 and they get it. You know, mom or dad, give me $100 so I can go out to the mall and buy 2 pairs of jeans. You know, they don't understand that for a typical movie theater here in Miami, Florida, it's about $12 for a movie ticket. You know, for a typical job, like a part-time job, that's an hour of work. You know, you have to go to work for an hour to be able to buy that movie ticket. That's an hour that you get to sit there and watch for an hour and a half or 2 hours, you know? So it's like, there's an issue there. If kids just go and ask their parents for this hard-earned money that they worked for, and then they just take it and spend it like it's nothing. On top of that, if you add a soda and some popcorn and a candy at the theater, then you're getting to 2-3 hours of work, you know? And if you want to buy yourself a TV that's $300-$400, you have to work a whole week, you know? So it's kind of like, this is one of the problems that I see. It's kind of a little bit of devaluing money. Something else that I see a lack of is character. And I'm not just saying that because my mom is a character, she teaches basically parenting. I'm not just saying that because of this. I mean it, because I can see the difference between kids that have character, kids that are raised in a what is it called? Like a structured home, and kids that are not. Because basically, when you're a young entrepreneur, you kind of get this structure and this character that you wouldn't if you were not an entrepreneur. Okay, so that's one of the problems I also see. Something else. Let me think. I'm kind of just making this all up right here on the spot. I'm kind of speaking from the heart. So bear with me. Also, if you guys have any questions throughout the webinar or throughout the thing today, just put it in the comments and I'll get to it as soon as I can. All right. Don't feel free, just ask throughout. And then if you have any questions at the end, I'll definitely be answering questions later on at the end of the webinar as well. So either way, I feel like there's definitely flaws in this generation. Something else that I feel like there could be better is creativity. I feel like a lot of times there's video games and stuff like that, and I feel like those things kill creativity. Because for me, when I was a kid, even though I'm not so old that I'm only 18 years old, I don't remember playing baseball in the park and stuff like that. Like maybe my dad did, and there was no video games. When I was younger, there was. However, I chose to go outside and play all kinds of games and be creative. I remember me and my other brother that's a year and a half older than me, Nick. We used to wake up in the mornings and we would just pack a couple. We'd say we each get to pick two things. So like he'd pick a machete and a matches, and I'd pick duct tape and a stick, right? And then we'd say we have to survive out there, like outside in our yard, without anything for a whole day. We have to find our water, find our food. We chop down coconuts and like cut it open. We'd start a fire if it was cold, whatever it was. So it's like, I feel like this creativity is kind of lacking. And this is where I find that being a youngpreneur can actually help. It can actually, it kind of forces your brain to become creative and start to think, rather than just being in this little like dead zombie mode of playing video games. It forces you to think, how can I make money? Like, how can I think outside of the box in ways that other people don't normally do to overcome this problem? Okay. One thing, may seem off topic, but one thing that stuck to me when I was, I started college when I was 15 through dual enrollment. And one thing that I remember, math was always a more touchy subject for most people. It's kind of, math is more difficult for most people. And my first college class was math, one of them. And I remember the teacher was like, the first class we had with her, she was like, I know every single one of you are thinking, I'm a nurse. I'm a psychology major. I'm a chemistry major. I don't need math. Why do I need this? And she said, the reason we make you do math in college, is not so you can learn how to solve the equation of 2 pi times x or whatever. It's to solve problems. It's to form your problem solving skills, because no matter what major you're in college, you're going to one day come across a problem. Okay. Whether it's, I don't know, no matter what major you're in, you're always going to come across a problem. You're going to hit a brick wall, and you have to think outside of the box to be able to figure out how to overcome that problem and solve it. So she said, basically the purpose for math is to get you to be stuck and to be able to think outside of the box to be able to solve that problem. And that stuck with me. That was the first class I was 15 years old, the first math class. It was like college algebra or something like that. That stuck with me. And I live by that. I live by every problem I come around, there's always a solution to it. There's always a solution. And I believe I not only got that from college, from the one professor that taught me that, I believe I also lived that beforehand through being a youngpreneur, being an entrepreneur. Just because every time I would face a problem, I would always think outside of the box. I would use my creativity to figure out how I can solve that problem and make it better, So, hello to everyone on Facebook Live. Good to see you guys. Thank you so much for joining. I'm not sure how to check who's on there. Otherwise, I would say hello to you personally. And over here on the live webinar, I have Junie, originally from Florida, but now lives in California. Ooh, what part of California are you from? Last year I went to San Diego like 4 times. I love it in San Diego. I was in Mission Beach. Mission Beach was super cool with like this roller coaster on the shore. Actually, I think my screensaver. Yeah, look, my screensaver, that's on Mission Beach in San Diego, California, right as the sun was setting here on Facebook Live, so you can see. I took that on Mission Beach. I love California. Awesome state. It's probably my second. I don't know. That's a hard one. California is awesome, but so is Colorado. So is what was it? I don't remember the other one. Anyways, let's move on. So with all these problems that I noticed through teaching the younger generation, I've also come up with kind of solutions, I guess you can say, or reasons that being an entrepreneur can help that generation. It can kind of, if this generation could be a youngpreneur, I put a list of 5 ways that can kind of solve the problem, if that makes sense. Like 5 ways that if they were youngpreneurs, it would solve this problem. So number 1, I believe that being a youngpreneur or being an entrepreneur of any age gives an individual a sense of independence, because it kind of puts you in a state of, I don't need to follow this pattern. I don't need to do what everyone else is doing in order to be successful. Or I don't need to depend on my job in order to get the things that I want. You know, I don't need to depend on waking up at 5 a.m. every day, which I'm not saying anything's wrong with that. You know, the traditional jobs are very good because they're what build our economy and everything like that. But however, you don't have to depend on it. You don't have to be codependent, I believe it's called. You don't have to be codependent to your job. You don't have to live to work, if that makes sense. You can work and then live separately. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like, you don't have to wake up every day to just go to the same exact job and do the same exact things and just wake up to only live for your job. It kind of gives you this sense of independence to be able to say, I'm going to work because I choose to. So for example, I started work about a year ago. I was working at this restaurant here in Homestead. It's a small diner called Sam's Country Kitchen. And last year in December, I decided to stop working there. I just said, you know what? This is not something that I want to do, you know? So I just stopped working there. Months and months later, about two months ago, so probably 8 months went by, one of the people that I worked with at Sam's, at the little diner, texted me and she told me, we really need help if you can come in and cover. If you can come in and cover a few shifts, right? So I went in, I covered the shifts, I made a little extra cash. And then she kept asking me, she said, if you can come in every Sunday, that would be great, you know, until we can find coverage. So even to this day, I've been going in every Sunday to make a little extra cash. But every time somebody asks me, oh, you're working here again, I tell them, no, I'm self-employed. I'm here because I want to be here, you know, not because the clock is telling me, not because the schedule's saying you have to be here at 8 a.m. I'm choosing to be there at 8 a.m. because that's something that I want to do, you know? And I feel like that's something that being an entrepreneur gave me, because it gave me this sense of independence, like I'm telling you. It gave me this sense of, I don't need to do this because I need to do it. I'm doing this because I want to, you know? I'm doing this because this is the thing, this is the smartest way, the quickest way to make a little bit of extra cash, you know? So that's why I say sense of independence. And how much greater would this be if we can start this at a younger generation? If we can start this at 6 years old, at 7, 8, 9, 16 years old, you know, how much better that we can get this sense of independence in someone rather than when they're way older and already are too locked into their jobs and stuff like that. And they wake up one day like, what am I doing? You know, like, you know, that's why there's midlife crises and stuff like that, because one day someone just wakes up after they've been working this same job for 45 years and they're just like, what is going on? You know, or maybe less than 45, maybe like 25 or whatever. But it's like, why? Like, what is my purpose? You know, which leads me to my second point. My second point is that I believe being a youngpreneur or being an entrepreneur in general gives you kind of, it helps you to find your passion, okay? For example, being an entrepreneur helped me to find my passion. My passion is 2 things. It's kind of self-explanatory, but one is being an entrepreneur, obviously, and number 2 is being a martial arts instructor. So through being an entrepreneur, I discovered that what I want to do is eventually open up my own martial arts school and run it and have it be a charitable place where I can offer scholarships to people that need martial arts, because I believe martial arts will transform the lives of many people, because I've seen it happen. I've seen martial arts transform kids from unconfident to confident. You know, it's just like a transformation within months. So being an entrepreneur led me to find this passion in martial arts, if that makes sense. And it doesn't just end here. That's the way that it was for me. But I believe being an entrepreneur can lead you to open this reality that can be anything. Because I feel like if I hadn't opened all these things, starting when I was 6 years old, if I hadn't had all these businesses, if I had thought now when I was 18 years old, maybe one day I'll open a martial arts school, I would have been like, no, there's no way, you know, I can't do that, you know. But being that way back when, now I've been doing it for what is that, 12 years? Now that I've been doing entrepreneurship for 12 years, I feel like one day I will definitely guarantee you I will be able to open a martial arts school and run it like an actual business and be able to do all the great things that I see in my head, you know? So I feel like being an entrepreneur, it not only helps you to find your passion, but it helps you to open the doors and think outside of the box to what's possible for you as a person. So it doesn't have to be, which actually is one of my third points. The third point is that being a young entrepreneur opens the doors from what's tradition to what's possible, if that makes sense. So basically, you don't have to live by what society says you have to live by. Basically, society says a good job is being a doctor, being a lawyer, being a nurse, or whatever it is, you know? Being, you know, these steady jobs. You have to go to school in order to be successful. You have to, you know, go to at least 6 years of college, all these different things. I feel like being an entrepreneur opens those doors and makes it possible for more than that, if that makes sense. Let me know if this is confusing you guys at all. It should be good, but just in case. So I feel like the fact that I was an entrepreneur when I was younger, it helped me to open my brain to be able to be like, this is definitely possible. What I want to do is possible, and I will do it, you know? Because I like analogies, like metaphors and stuff like that. So let's say we have a ball, okay? Let's start it here. Or let's say a dough or something, like for bread, okay? So every day I wake up and I stretch it a little bit, and I stretch it a little bit, and I stretch it a little bit. And think of this ball of dough as what's possible for me, okay? So now every day I wake up, I'm waking up and I'm stretching. I'm saying, this is possible for me. This is possible for me. This is possible. This is possible. This is possible. Until it's just huge. And now I put way too much. I don't remember what it's called. I think it's called yeast, maybe. That makes the bread grow. Until all of a sudden I have this giant bread that's like so huge. So that's me, okay? So basically it's like I wake up and I stretch every day. What's possible for me? What's possible for me? And I stretch it and I stretch it and I stretch it until one day I'm just like, everything is possible. Literally, I can do whatever I want to do, and I can do it great, you know? And that sounds fake. Like, it sounds like I'm making that up, but I mean that. Like, from the bottom of my heart, I mean that, guaranteed. So I believe that, 1, being an entrepreneur gives you a sense of independence. 2, being an entrepreneur helps you to discover your passion. And 3, being an entrepreneur will help you to grow and discover, how did I put it? Like, discover that you can do things differently than the basic traditions of how everyone does things. So number 4, something that I think is a very big one is that being an entrepreneur helps you to manage money. Okay. Ever since I was young, I was a saver. I was saving my money, you know, because to me, it was like I earned it. This was my hard-earned money. So I said, I'm going to save this money so one day I can buy a car, and one day I can buy a house, and one day I can buy whatever it is. Like, I always broke my money into separate things, because the one thing that about entrepreneurship, which this can be, but for me it's been like this. It's kind of been like you make money and then you don't make money, and then you make money and you don't make money. So you have to be flexible, and you also have to be able to save your money for the harder times, because being an entrepreneur is great, but you won't make money all the time. Like, you won't just all of a sudden, bam, bank, make a bunch of money. You have to have patience, and sometimes you'll make money and sometimes you won't. So being a young entrepreneur it kind of helped me to save for the hard times, if you will. It was kind of like, when I make money, that's great, but now I need to split that money in half, or split it into four, and save it for my car, and save it for the hard times, quote unquote, save it for the now. I have to save it, because money doesn't come easily. And that's the reality of it. No matter where it is. Well, you know what? That's a lie, technically. Money does come easily. When you learn correctly, money can just come to you. But until then, you have to prepare, and you have to mentally prepare, and physically with your money and everything like that, because anything can happen at any time. For example, yesterday I was driving, and someone cut me off in traffic. So cut me off bad, and it was raining. So I lost complete control of my car, and I was swerving out of control. I hit the curb, and thank the Lord that I'm okay, because I almost crashed pretty badly. So everything happens for a reason, but either way, I'm safe. Everything's good. However, there were damages to my car, and there's no insurance to pay for it. The other person that cut me off just took off. I never got his license or anything. So if I had not saved my money, now that I have to make these repairs, I wouldn't have had money to pay for it, But being that I've saved my money, and I save for those hard times, because anything can happen at any time, now I've saved my money and I'm able to pay for these repairs, because sometimes you don't know what you're saving for. Sometimes you do know. Sometimes you say, I'm saving for a car, I'm saving for a house, but sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you're just saving to save. And then something happens and you're like, this is why I saved. And maybe it's not always negative. Maybe there's a spontaneous vacation. Maybe somebody says, we're going on a weekend getaway to the Bahamas. I don't know. And you say, you know what? I've saved my money. I have $1,000 saved up. Let's do it. Let's go. So managing money. I feel like being an entrepreneur definitely helps you. That's point number 4. Point number 4 is to manage money. I definitely think that being an entrepreneur will manage your money. Point number 5, character. So this is a huge one as well. I mean, every single one of these points is a giant point, honestly. Like, I can't say any of them are less important than the other. So character. Being an entrepreneur, you need extreme amounts of character. No matter if you're young, old, middle-aged, teenager, whatever. You need character for this, because character is in everything. Character is basically who you are. So I talked a little bit about this in my program that I'll tell you guys more about a little later. But basically, character is your foundation, okay? If you don't have your foundation right, everything else will crumble, okay? Think of it like a sandcastle versus an actual castle, okay? If you have a giant sandcastle, which is weak foundation, it'll crumble, So that's why it's important to have a stronger foundation, and the stronger foundation is a metaphor for, like, the stronger castle is a metaphor for stronger character. Okay, so if you have a stronger character, you as a person will be stronger. So being an entrepreneur helps you to chisel those pieces of yourself that are maybe not so great. Maybe you're not so good at managing money. Maybe you're not so disciplined, or maybe you can't manage your time. Maybe you're dishonest. Maybe you're not courageous. Maybe you're shy. There's all these different things that if you're an entrepreneur, you'll have to chisel yourself. You'll have to kind of work on it. You'll say, okay, I'm a shy person, but I have to go talk to these people. Okay, I'm not good at managing my time, but I have to manage my time in order to make money. Okay, I can't manage my money, but I have to manage my money in order to save and in order to buy more inventory to make more money. So character is your base, your foundation. If you don't have a strong foundation, everything else will crumble down. So that's the basics of it. Those are the 5 points that I believe are the biggest reasons for being an entrepreneur in this generation. Now, I have a bonus point. Bing, bing, bonus point. Ready? This is actually a fact. I looked it up before jumping on this call today, that there are 27 million and growing entrepreneurs in the US only today. So let me repeat that. 27 million entrepreneurs in the US today. That's it. And it's growing. So 10 years ago, it was less. 20 years ago, it was less. 30 years ago, it was less. Now it's constantly growing. There's more and more entrepreneurs every single day. Every day you wake up, there's a new entrepreneur. There's someone else doing something great. There's someone else inventing something that's never been invented. There's someone else making their first $1 million. There's always room for more entrepreneurs. Because when you think everything's been done, in reality, it hasn't been done. Okay, not everything. Because there's that saying, it's everything was impossible till someone did it. So that's kind of self-explanatory, till someone ran a mile, that was impossible, but then someone did it. Till someone ran a mile in 5 minutes, it was impossible till someone did it. Till someone swam from Cuba to Miami, it was impossible, but then someone did it, So it's like everything is impossible till you do it. Literally everything. So it's like, why restrict yourself from that? Because it's like, oh, it's impossible for me to be an entrepreneur. It's like, just prove yourself wrong and do it. It's impossible. Like I could say for me, oh, it's impossible for me to go vegan, or it's impossible for me to eat meat, or whatever it is. And it's not impossible. All I have to do is do it. It's all in the mind. So my point is, entrepreneurship is growing huge. It's growing, and it's never too late, because in 10 years, there will be more entrepreneurs. In 20 years, there will be more. 30 years, there will be more. And you could be one of them more, okay? So now, I wanted to let you guys know a little bit about the program that I developed. Me and my brother actually developed it. Me and my brother, Nick, that's a year and a half older than me. Him and I were always kind of business partners throughout our entire career, I guess you can say. Him and I always did things together. We always brainstormed together, which is always great when you can have someone to just kind of bounce ideas off of. So he was that person for me. So him and I developed this program together that caters to mostly kids or children ages 6 or 7, probably most likely 7 years old to 16. And we teach basically all the basics of business. We teach them how to figure out whether they want to sell an actual product or sell a service. A service is like car washes, dog sitting, whatever it is, It's selling like something you can do for them for money, whereas selling a product. So we teach all this in the program. We teach how to develop the name, how to develop a logo, how to market, how to do basically start your own business. And we teach that all within 3 courses. So he and I developed that, just him and I, because we found that there was plenty of resources for the older generations that wanted to be entrepreneurs, for people 18 and up, online. However, there was none that taught kids to be entrepreneurs. And we're like, how is that possible? How is that possible that there's so many kids nowadays that could benefit from being an entrepreneur, yet there's no programs or anything like that to do it? So he and I got together and we set up this whole process. We basically set up everything that he and I did through those 12 years that we've been entrepreneurs, all into 3 weeks. 3 weeks, 3 hours, 1 hour a week. We send you one program, 1 hour video of us talking with epic slides that I recreated myself. And we teach you. We teach you in 3 weeks everything that we've learned in the past 12 years, you know? So that's the program. It's called the Youngpreneur program. And it's for, like I said, ages 12 to 16. So right now I'm offering that program for $97. But if you purchase it like within the next 24 hours, you'll also get 5 coaching calls one-on-one with me. Well, 3 coaching calls one-on-one with me. Just I'll get on the phone, I'll talk, I'll brainstorm, I'll be that buddy that everyone needs just to bounce ideas off of. What do you think of this? What do you think if I do this business? And I'll say, oh, I like that, but what do you think if you do something else? Or what do you think if you add this to your idea and make it even better, you know? So I'll be that brainstorm buddy for 3 classes. Plus, for those 3 classes, meanwhile, as you're watching the videos. So I'm going to be talking with you while you watch them, everything like that. Now, after the 3 weeks, we're going to have 2 bonus calls where all the kids from the entire class, everyone that's been watching the program, will come together and we'll all brainstorm together. So I can only accept 10 people because my time is limited and my space is limited. So I can only accept 10 people. So how that'll work is I'll have 5 and 5, 5 on one call, 5 on another, and we'll just get on a call for 30 minutes, maybe an hour, who knows how long, and we'll just talk. We'll talk about what we're doing, what's working, what's not working, and by the end of the 5 weeks, I can guarantee that if you follow each of the instructions that I give you throughout the course and throughout all the calls, you take my advice, I guarantee you will make that $97 back for sure. Guaranteed. But you have to do the work. I can teach you what I know, but you have to take what I'm giving you and you have to take action. You have to do it. So anyways, Christmas is coming. This would be a great gift for anyone for Christmas. Maybe teach your kids how to buy them this program so that they can make money and buy you gifts. Christmas is coming, so perfect time for them to make money so that they can buy everyone gifts, you know? So yeah, if you're interested in buying this program, or if you have any more questions about this program, please leave it in the chat. I'll leave some time right now for questions or anything like that. But as of right now, if you're interested and you would like to sign up, go to shirleysolis.com/youngpreneur. The Youngpreneur is spelled YOUNGPRENEUR. It's a little bit of a toughie word because it's like a mixture. But shirleysolis.com/youngpreneur, and you can register there. And for those of you that are live on the call, I have offers on here where you can just click and purchase it now. But again, if you have any questions, leave the comments now. I'm going to leave some time for questions, comments, anything like that. Again, it's $97, and that includes 3 weeks, the 3 lessons, the 3 1-hour classes, plus 3 one-on-one calls, and then the 2 bonus calls of the group bonus calls. So everything is included in there. And with that being said, I mean, I hope you guys enjoyed everything today. I hope you enjoyed my story and what I had to share. But yeah, I'll just wait for any questions here. Oh, Junie says Long Beach, 2 hours north of San Diego. That's cool. I think I've been to Long Beach. I'm almost sure. It's been a while though. I've been to most of California. I've been almost all over. I love it though. San Diego is probably my favorite. It might be. I don't remember too much. So yeah. Any questions, comments, feedback? Feedback could also be, you did great. I always love that. Like, you're awesome. You know, woo! I always love that. Just like Okay, I got a question. Do you have experience in selling? Oh yeah, selling on the internet. So actually, that's something that I didn't mention. Um, when I was selling, when I was about 13 years old, I started selling on eBay, and through a process, I learned on eBay how to sell, and I learned the ins and out of eBay. I learned everything to know, and I didn't even learn it through internet or whatever, like through YouTube. I learned it through trial and error. I just started doing stuff. I started selling, and I figured out what worked, what didn't work, and next thing you know, after like 6 months, I was a very well-known seller, and I was making about $600 to $700 a month profit. So I do have experience selling on the internet. So that's on eBay. I also am currently selling on Amazon. I launched a product that I developed. It's a camping hammock, but it can also be it's a 4-in-1 camping hammock. So it's a hammock, it's a tent, it's a picnic blanket, and it's a sun shelter. So it's like a shade or something like that. So it's funny that you mentioned that because I do have experience selling on the internet, and actually class number 3 of the 3-week program that I'm selling is all about selling on the internet. So I teach you how to sell on maybe like Craigslist. I teach you how to sell on eBay, on OfferUp, on any online based or app based or internet based business you want to do. I teach all that in the 3rd course. And then as well as if your child or whoever it is wants to base their thing on online, I'll talk to them one-on-one. So I definitely do have experience, a lot of experience, I would say, on eBay, Amazon, OfferUp, anything else. So yes, I do. So what were you selling on eBay? So on eBay, it started off with used stuff I found around my house. So basically, I sold electronics. I sold like I had an old iPod. I sold iPods. I sold old cameras I had. I sold old pairs of shoes, clothes, like jackets and stuff. Then from there, once I sold everything I had in my house that I could possibly sell, I started to go to like garage sales. I would go to Goodwill, and I do kind of shopping where I buy at Goodwill a very expensive jacket that still had the tag, and I would sell it on eBay for the retail price. So I'd make good money like that. Then from there, I continued to develop my I guess you can say my expertise, and then I started to sell what was it? I started to sell weapons. So I personally love weapons. I love knives, spears, crossbows. I love all that stuff, because I'm a boy. I have a love for that. So then I found online, I started to search, and I found a website that would drop ship. Drop shipping is basically where it goes straight from them to the customer that buys from me. So I never have to see the product. It just goes, so I buy from them, and then they buy from me. So then these people ship straight to them. You know what I'm saying? So I started to do that and making like a lot of profit that way, doing like that. So I would sell weapons. I sold crossbows. I sold like replica swords of like from video games and stuff like that. So yeah, when I was making the lots of money, that's what I was selling. I was selling weapons. And then the reason I stopped eBay is because I actually got shut down. Because one day I was calling to increase my selling quantity for the month, because you're only allowed to sell a certain amount. So I called and I was like, hey, can I increase it? And then they asked me my age. I told them I was 13. And they were like, yeah, this isn't going to work. They shut down every account I had. They shut down my parents' account. It was terrible. So even to this day, I think I just opened an eBay account and they haven't shut it down. So that's good. But it was shut down for years and years and years. So that's why I stopped. But yeah, I was selling weapons when I was making a lot of money on eBay. So any other? I love those questions, by the way. Very good questions. Thank you. So any other questions before we wrap it up? So yeah, like I said before, the 3rd lesson in the Youngpreneur program is all about selling online. Selling online. Now, Facebook Live, people send me some corazones, hearts. If you like what I say, if not, it's all good too. It's all peace and love. All right. So I guess if there's no other questions, again, if you would like to purchase the Youngpreneur program where I'll teach anyone from the ages of 7 to 16 how to be an entrepreneur and everything that I've learned. And then I'll give you those 3 one-on-one calls plus the 2 bonus calls. You can purchase it at shirleysolis.com/youngpreneur. And then thank you so much for joining today. I'll wait an extra minute just in case any calls or any questions. The next question is, what are the lessons in the program? So I'm going to try to remember exactly what it is that I teach. Let me see. I think I have it written down somewhere here. No, maybe not. So what are the lessons in the program? Off the top of my head, it may not be exactly in this order, but what I teach is, in the first lesson, I teach all of the basics of business. So I teach what is marketing, what is a product, what is a service, what is wholesale, what is retail. I teach. I don't remember everything exactly off the top of my head, to be honest with you, but I teach basically all of the basics. I teach everything. I break it down as if you know nothing about business, nothing at all, and I teach you little by little on the first lesson, and then I also talk about character, and then at the end of each lesson, I give you homework. So I give you something to go, and through the next week, you have to go and you have to take action and do these action steps and do this homework. So that's lesson number 1. I teach the basics of business, everything. As if you had no idea what business was, I teach you the basics. Number 2, we start to get a little bit more into developing your own brand and your own business. I talk about branding. I talk about marketing. I talk about how to start off your business if you don't have money. I give what is it? I talk about that. I talk about naming your business. I talk about creating a logo. I talk about basically by the second class, you'll have a developed business and you'll know what it is that you want to do, how you're going to be making your money. So you'll know whether you're going to be selling snacks or selling candy or whatever it is. And throughout the lessons, I teach the kids or the people that are watching. I teach them to work with their strengths. So I teach them or to work with what they have. So if it's snowing outside, I teach how to use that for your favor. And then if it's hot outside, I teach how to use that for your favor. So throughout the 2, I don't remember exactly which one I teach, like which lesson I teach that in, but by the second lesson, you should have a developed business where you're ready to start making money. And then by lesson 3, I talk a little bit about wrapping up some things about your business, and I talk about selling on the internet. And then if you want to sell online, how to do that and stuff like that. So that's the lessons. If that makes sense. Did that answer your question, Junie? I'll wait a little second longer, and I'll see what's up. I'll see if I can just cut it off. Sweet. Awesome. Thank you so much, Junie. And thank you so much, everyone that joined on Facebook Live, and then everyone that has joined on the webinar live as well. So again, if you would like to purchase it, shirleysolis.com/youngpreneur, $97. You get 3 classes, 3 one-on-one coaching calls as well. On top of that, you get 2 bonus group calls. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed. See ya.